All right, everyone. Hello and welcome to the last of our semifinal matches here in Discord Community Throwdown. We are going to have a heater today, and I'm just not talking about puns because we have number 2 on fire versus number 3 Core Quixotic. And I mean, they had a close match last time. I'm hoping for a close match this time, and I think we're really going to see some sparks fly. But, we got an extra surprise on hand today. We're kind of expanding the staff a little bit. Sure, we've got our two casters today with Beatdown Boulevard and Rian, but we're going to be working some desk analysis stuff too. So I've got the VK here with me as well. How you doing, man?
Hello, hello. Good enough.
Good
6 a.m.
enough.
where I am. I'm
Yeah,
pumped up
yeah.
on coffee. I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, we got 6 a.m. there. We got 8:12 there for over here for me. So we got a worldwide situation going on here. But hey, look, I know what people want to see and hear, and it's not necessarily us talking about what's about to go down, but they want to hear from the players themselves, and then of course have it go down. So let's talk to a couple of these main players here real quick and get a feel for what's about going on. I'm gonna pull Risky in from Core Quixotic to kind of get a feel with what's going on today. All right, so we've
Nope.
pulled Risky in. How you doing today, man?
Hi. It's
It's
been a
nice to
long
have you
day.
back. Congratulations on the previous win and solidifying your spot in the semifinals.
Thank you.
Well, so look, things are up another level here, and we got to know like how you guys preparing because this is a little bit different. You've got a different set of competition. Walk me through what you guys did.
Well, we brought our mostly our real roster this time, so that's a start.
That's a good start. I'm all for it.
Yes, we this is the show. It's here finally. Uh and we're prepared to, just go out there, have some fun. We're we're not like a seasoned team that's been together, so we're here for this as an experience.
No, no, I feel you.
What happens happens.
What should we be looking for? Is there anything new with the specific roster?
Um I mean, the names are easier to say.
Love that, by the way.
Yeah, we can't go wrong there. VK, what are you thinking? Is there any specific analysis you want to prod them on?
Yeah, first of all, uh, we've got the specific set of maps for our quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. You can't be flexy in your map choice because if you lose a map, you don't get to choose another one. You already know what's going to happen next. So, how
Mhm.
comfortable are you feeling with the maps you're going to play? That's Eichenwald, Nepal, Rialto, Anubis, and Oasis.
Right. So, for the past 2 weeks, we've actually been scrimming exclusively those maps.
Okay.
So we've been just kind of like refining our play style, determining what we want to do on each, and just kind of getting familiar to a point where we can feel confident whatever we do.
Right on, running specific strats on specific maps, always a good way to prep. I mean, when it comes down to it, though, there's some serious. You're gonna have to pull some serious focus fire here. Who you guys gonna be? Have you studied the VODs? Who you gonna be trying to focus down?
um, Honestly, we're not probably not going to be looking for a specific person. We're just going to be looking to exploit mistakes, pretty much.
All right, right on. Well, so that was Risky from Core Quixotic. Thank you very much for joining us. We're going to let you get back down to your team, and then we're going to pull Mac Almighty up here, and see what he has to say, and then you guys can throw down soon. All right, sweet. And now, after interviewing Risky from Core Quixotic, we have Mac Almighty of the infamous On Fire with us. How you doing today?
I am doing all right. We're pretty ready for this match, I gotta say.
I feel like you have to be because we've been running these playoffs for a little while, but now that you've had the bye and you guys were the second match in the final four, I mean, like you guys got to be chomping at the bit. But like, how do
Yeah,
you?
I have to.
Can you? What about Have you guys? You haven't
We've
slacked off in break.
we've
What's
been
going on?
scrimming. We have been scrimming hard. We've been playing this entire last weekend. We've been organizing practices. We've been trying out different compositions, as you'll see. We've been
Okay.
thinking about this to the max degree.
Okay. Is there anything that we should be looking out for? What's the deal here?
Uh, I won't say goats, but we might be running goats on Eichenwald. Like, you know, you usually run for the dive, right? Because
Hey, whatever works.
offense, but we're trying some interesting strats today.
All right,
But
well, I
we
can't wait
always-
to see it.
We always have different tank play to fall back on.
Yeah, you guys do have pretty strong tanks. I can't wait to see them play. And of course, like the unsung heroes are really some of your supports. I mean, Heavy J is just an insane Lucio. I hope we see him busting
bless-
some stuff out.
Bless his heart, he got back into gold today.
Aw.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to
Like
see him
that's-
play up. VK, what are you thinking? What's on your mind?
I'm thinking of asking what hero in the hands of Core Quixotic do you fear the most? They've got some really strong Widowmaker players, some strong Genji players, Farm Mercy that's
Actually,
always to be feared. So who?
There's a Niata we were talking about is very, very strong and you're gonna watch out for.
Yeah,
Also, I see they have some players I haven't seen before.
there
so
are a couple new ones, yeah.
We
Ooh.
are gonna have to watch for that.
And if you're talking about Ubi Pro, he is definitely a
Ubi
solid
Pro is good.
Zenyatta.
Yes, we have been taking notes on him. He is very good.
All right. Well, we will be looking out for that kind of, I guess, just making sure that you guys are aware of his placement. Can't wait to see what he gets off or what he doesn't. I'm just really ready for a close match. I know everybody's excited to play. The stakes are high. I mean, this is the real deal. This is for at least
say.
$60.
Speaking of high stakes, so we were talking about it. This isn't just for, you know, third or second place, right? This isn't even just to get to first place. This is to take first place.
Yeah. Okay. You know.
Our team personally respects Core Quixotic. We also respect Primal as a team, but both of us really want
pretty ready to take it to him. All right.
Really ready for that.
Well, I'm sure they're watching, and I bet they enjoyed hearing that. But I love any fuel on a fire. And without that, I guess I'll let you go back to your team, and we're going to get ready to
Alright.
start.
Let's do this.
There's not too much else we can do besides get to this sweet game here. We're kicking off this map pool, which is Eichenwald, Nepal, Rialto, and Anubis, and Oasis if it goes to a map 5, but we're kicking it off with Eichenwald, and let's go ahead and get to it. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and hand this over to our casters. Today, we have with us Beatdown Boulevard, who's been covering all of these finals, and Rianne as well. How you guys doing?
Very good, actually. I'm pretty excited for this map. I mean, Quixotic. I mean, I'm just saying, but that is one of my favorite words. So I expect I expect him to deliver. You know, get some pretty big plays.
Yep. Favorite words and skill do tend to correlate, so I'm expecting a lot from them as well.
Yeah, you know, they are the number 3 seed, whereas On Fire is the number 2. So maybe got a little bit of a tall order in trying to take them down, but we're going to see what exactly they can do here on Eichenwald. What do you expect them to run on this map, Beatdown?
Well, I think for the first point, both teams are probably going to stick to a Death Ball econ, more static. You know, there isn't too much benefit from the dive. There isn't very much accessible high ground they need to concern themselves with. However, it seems that Hammond is in the mix here. So, honestly, I have very few predictions at the moment. Nope, never mind. Hammond is just for show. No one's actually allowed to use them yet. So, yeah, I think teams are going to stick with more Death Ball-y. Yeah, we see on this side here, on the blue team here, Dexter is playing the Orisa. They just wanted more of a static defense. And when you're defending a single point, that tends to be favorable.
I mean, you were talking about Death Ball. I mean, isn't that what Hammond is? He's basically just a Death Ball himself, a big old hamster in a wheel, rolling around the map, doing all sorts of damage. I'm actually really excited to see how he goes in and shifts up the meta, but of course, we all gotta wait. Unfortunately, we will not see him being played yet, but in terms of the defense here and what they are playing, this Orisa D.Va defense I think is perfect because this allows you to set up around the corners and hold different angles and then kind of shut down with the offense. But they are going to be running the GOATS comp here, triple tank, triple support, which has seemed to be very effective in the past.
It can be. It might actually cause them a bit of trouble too because of how quickly they are with the Lucio. Orisa being this very slow tank herself and not being able to carry the shield with her is going to cause a lot of problems. It means it's harder for her to disengage and actually properly deal with this.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it right there, and now her shield is completely split up, is finally able to put it back, but the damage may have already been done because they've already kind of established themselves on the point here for On Fire, but Josiah is the first one to fall. That's pretty big because you lose the Reinhardt there, that shield a lot of damage mitigation is gone as well, and you see it. They're able to get the pick on the Moira as well, and now with the DMAC, this fight is gonna go to the Corfu Exotic pretty much, unless the baby D.Va can clutch it all out, but she's not gonna be able to do that, and that is gonna be the Corfu Exotic winning this first fight.
Yeah, that would indeed be a tall order. It's too bad though for On Fire. You know, they seem to have neglected. They kind of neglected Coffee there on the Hanzo. He was up on this high ground area, just shooting right into them, and I see the entire time they just ignored him. They didn't do anything, and the current Hanzo does so much damage. So if you're not paying attention to him, it's gonna make it really easy for your team to fall apart.
Yeah, and now look at what he's got. He's got the Dragon Strike combo, or the Dragon Strike ultimate. I'm so used to saying combo because of the Zarya, but he's going to use it actually. Not going to catch too much, but a Graviton Surge on the other side is going to get a few of the members all right where they want them. Dexter does live it out though with the Fortify, and he is now set up on the point. They were forced to use the Valkyrie as well as the Transcendence, investing both support ultimates here just to res Coffee back into the fight, which is going to be big, especially since he's already at 42% and he just used his ult. Actually gets stuck there. Mac Almighty taking him down. Might have been a bit of technical difficulty on his side. I saw some interesting movement, but On Fire looking pretty much slated to win this fight here. It's just the two tanks left on the point. They invest the Shatter, which I don't know about that one.
Oh, I really don't know about that one. You had two people left on the point. They were tanks. You had your entire team. The Shadow was something you could have saved and used it in the next fight just to get some really easy distance, but unfortunately, they're not going to do that. And it looks like Core is going to swap to a Far Widow dive pump here. You know, since we're on the streets phase, it is better to have that mobility so you can move up and down freely across all the different high ground.
I'm actually kind of surprised that they didn't switch to the Pharah earlier, because if you look at the composition that On Fire is running right now, there's no hit scan. You really don't have an answer to the Pharah beyond just D.Va flying up every now and then and matrixing her, and they're actually going inside the castle here. I like this. Taking the high ground, they'll let them get some damage on the Pharah just a little bit easier and force Coffee back. They do drop the sound barrier to give everyone else a little more shields and health, you know, after the buff to Lucio very recently. It's better than ever, and they're able to get the first pick onto Risky here. Ubi Pro is forced back, but Josiah, he's going to pay for that overextension there, and is going to be taken down, and Coffee on the front line just locking things down with double kill, including the usage of his barrage to win out the fight. Bomb was invested as well from Mac Almighty there, but might have just been to get a fresh Mac.
Yeah, very likely. It seems like they're going to swap the Brig and they're going to add the Ana. They want to add more healing to this comp, I guess, but I'm not sure if that quite makes up for the lack of space and the CC that can be done by the Brigitte, but we'll just have to see.
And they're still running the triple tank, still have no real answer to this Pharah, who's just been raining down damage from above. I mean, look at Coffee, he's already got another barrage, and he just used it in that last fight, and now this gives him all the room he needs to make a big play again once more. I mean, you look at his positioning here, he's in a position where it's wide open. There's really no cover, so as soon as he barrages, I mean, where else can you go but right into the waiting arms of the Rockets. But Josiah on the side is very low here. Gonna be finished off by Coffee, actually, who just moves on over. Doesn't even need to invest the barrage.
It's unfortunate. It's a pretty bad stagger. And then another one right there on Heavy J. They're going to have to wait for both of these respawns before pushing in. At least they should. But it looks like they catch Dexter, actually, overextending a little bit.
That's actually very good for them, because this allows them to actually use this bomb now. There's no real shields and damage mitigation, and there you go with a triple kill. They're going to lock this down. Mac Almighty coming up with a clutch play there. It actually made a lot of sense, you know, now that I think about it. I was initially kind of confused on why they chose to overextend like that, but killing Dexter allowed them to use that bomb up in the air, and there was really nowhere else for them to hide, and there you go.
Exactly. Dexter was getting low, but he was pushed out too far. Mac Almighty smelled blood and went for it, and it helped his team so well. They had the spawn advantage, and they lost. Core just lost their main tank, and because of that, they had way more time to push onto that next point. And that D.Va bomb was so huge.
Absolutely. I mean, when you take out half of the entire team like that in one fell swoop, there's really no real way to come back after that one. But Josiah is actually gonna DC here. It happens, you know, every once in a while people have internet problems, and by every once in a while I mean in every single match people have internet problems, because I mean that's really just a fact of life here in Overwatch, when you got 12 different people trying to connect to one person. But I mean, again, this could be a tactical DC here, using this to gain information on the enemy positions here.
Oh, wouldn't that be the big brain play? It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna unplug my router real quick, and then while that's going on, then the rest of my team can just figure everything out.
Biggest of brain plays, but there you go. See, he's back. It seems that the teams have now, they've got enough information. Too salty though. I mean, if I look at this situation, I see that Risky has got pretty much a shot on Too Salty here. He's already mildly low, so if you can finish him off, then you would lose the nano boost in this next fight, which could be huge.
Yeah, it very well could be. They actually have, despite losing the ult charge that Josiah did have, they still have 4 ults in this next fight, whereas there really isn't anything else on the side of Core. Core had the rocket barrage, but Coffee, in a really questionable situation, just went to pop it and got no value for it. But considering how fast he charges it, we'll probably see it again soon.
Yeah, I mean, it was just at 30 and now it's at 50 because of a 1 kill. I mean, let that say anything about what happens when you let Farah go uncontested like this, right? And then Josiah, I mean, they're just pushed back. There's just too much damage on the front lines. And actually, he's going to throw a bomb over the top here. Path looking for a bit of a cheeky kill. Didn't really get anything in the end, though, because the Ryan just, you know, put up a shield, looked at the sky.
Yeah, when you know it's coming, and your team's not facing any pressure, it's really easy to deal with. That's why divas tend to use it, like in the middle of a team fight when people are already scrambling.
But look at this, Coffee, barrage once more. The dive comes up, but he's gonna get slept. Almost gets anti, but big grab. Now you see Coffee has to invest the barrage to try and deal with it, but it's gonna get blocked by Mac Almighty, who gets damage or nano boosted as well. And now this could be what they need to start wreaking some havoc. But as the nano boost runs out, he's gonna invest the bomb. Doesn't catch anything, unfortunately. Whereas Coffee is getting all the picks right now, but is eventually taken down by the Mara. So now this gives On Fire all the room that they need. You know the Moira is down, and you can definitely win the ground war, especially with the numbers advantage. Dexter down into the river. He just wanted to take a swim, and this is On Fire. Probably gonna cap this last, maybe foresee one more fight here.
Yeah, maybe Dexter did just spawn now. It's gonna be really close. But still, they gotta be careful of the Earth Shatter. You know, they don't have a consistent shield to hold up like another Reinhardt would do, so they really need to be careful on how they deal with it. But at this point, they're just trickling onto the point, so it's really hard to say.
Oh, Josiah with a big shatter off to the side, but there's not enough damage to follow up on it, and Coffee is there to rain down the justice from above, even without his ultimate, and take everybody down. And on the back of Coffee here, you know, you saw him get picked at the beginning, but then rezzed immediately. On the back of this pick, or on the back of the res of onto Coffee, this might actually be what they need to stop this in its tracks. But the bomb goes out. Mac Almighty has to get back in his mag, and he's just the only one left on the point trying to contest this right now. The rest of the team is nowhere near the respawns. Josiah finally coming back here, and Calvary is arriving, but he's knocked up in the air and over the edge, and that's gonna be that. They can't make it all the way to the gates of Eichenwalde. They're trying to storm the castle. Just not gonna happen this time. So now we're gonna switch sides, and we're gonna see what the On Fire can do on the defense.
Indeed, and you know, that kind of goes to show what happens when you're stubborn like that. On Fire had ran the triple tank, sure, worked for a little while, but Coffee was literally abusing it. The fact that he could get all this free damage, and the only time he really died was when he was the only one left. So, you know, in the middle of a team fight, he was just farming them. I think he had, like, in that one round, like 3 or 4 rocket barrages.
I know, it was just crazy how fast he was building those up. I mean, like I said, in one rocket, he got 20% ult charge on it. So, I mean, it's just a few more, and then there you go. I mean, that's basically GG's right there, just ended out. But even though they didn't push the payload all the way to the end, I mean, you could get locked out on the first point of Eichenwalde here. So it means it's no real, I guess, too big of a loss that they didn't make it all the way. But of course, you always want to have as much that safety net, if you would. You know, they're like a circus performer. You know, you're on the tightrope there. You don't want to fall off down into nothingness. You want to have that nice, good old safety net. And in this case, that safety net is progress.
Yeah, unfortunately, not the strongest of safety nets, not really even getting the second point, but as you say, you can still get held here on the first point. It really just depends on how On Fire deals with the oncoming attack, how well they can deal with the strategy they used, actually, because as you can see, Core is using the same Goats comp here. We're going to see who can actually do it better, as long as they can pressure Josiah and, like, move on him very quickly, because he is the slowest member of the team. They can just get rid of him and then move on to the next target.
Yeah, but I do like this Junkrat from Mac Almighty here to get all the damage on the front line. Path can eat up most of it, but I mean, after a while, it's just too much spam coming right at you, and you need your shields if you want to be able to push in here, and you see them doing that already, whereas on the side of Core Quixotic, they're staging right now. They're waiting for the team to get there. You see now they know the push is beginning because Mac Almighty got that damage on the crosshair, but as a result, they can actually give the Rein Zarya a whole lot of charge here with all the spam. Basically free energy for him if he's not at 80 right now. I would not be surprised. Yes, he is at 80 charge practically, but Dexter is the first to fall, and this is going to slow the Goat's attack in its tracks. You know, you normally want to be very quick on it, but now you see them switching over. Coffee notices. Look at this. There's no hit scan beyond the Widowmaker. All right, I can Pharah once more.
Well, it's a little strange their choice of.
Oh, Hanzo.
They just kind of swapped right away. Didn't actually give the Ghost Cop a chance. Probably that they couldn't deal with the Junkrat, which is fair. He does dish out a lot of damage. It might have been too much for them. But now that they're swapping here, they do need to get aggressive, and they need to win this shield battle going on right now, because that's the only way they're gonna actually get in there. And it's so hard because you know Orisa gets your shield up so often.
Yeah, but here you go. Now they've figured out the strat. It's just you walk to the other side, but as a result, in those past few fights, they built up the ultimates that they need, and Mac Almighty gets the double with the tire, and then the rest of the offense just falling apart. And as a result of all those switches and then just waiting, they've lost a lot of time already. They're at 2 minutes and 25 already.
Yeah, that first fight took over a minute, over a minute to start, and as all fights do, they end very quickly. But this gave Core the chance to build. This gave Core the chance to build both support ultimates in this fight. If they sustain long enough, Path will get the Graviton Surge. On fire rather, but if they can take out Jeff from Overwatch, who will probably have the trends, that Graviton will probably do a lot of work. But as soon as I say it, Pav ditches the Zarya and goes for the D.Va. They're gonna go for a full dive comp this time, which is actually not the worst way to deal with Orisa.
Yeah. Although they need to be careful of the Junkrat, because he can just knock everyone around with the displacement. But now with this Tracer, I do like this switch from Risky. I mean, it's a bit of a risky play because, you know, there's a lot of pressure on himself, but might work out in his favor if he can get the picks that they need. But Danger Noodle and himself are both down. You see the Winston trying to pressure different here, but it's just not gonna be enough in the end. And I mean, that's what happens when the dive was segmented like that. I think everyone kind of went their own ways, running on their own solo mission, and as a result, there's just no coordination there, and as they just end up losing the fight.
Yeah, but I think if you're Core, you're not feeling the worst about that fight. You know, he lost Transcendence, sure, but Heavy J did use the Valkyrie. Too Salty did use the whole hog. As long as they can deal with the Junkrat tire that's about to be online, they can actually make this work. They still have the Valkyrie for all that sustain. Coffee's about to have the Dragon Strike as well.
Oh, Dexter got trapped there. He dove in to protect his D.Va, and it actually ends up biting him in the foot. And Risky gets one pick. Let's see if he can get more here on this Tracer. He's pressuring Heavy J right now and blinking around. Gets the pulse bomb onto Joe's side, and then that comes out as well. But here's the Transcendence and the tire, both ults invested here to try and stop this defense. And Coffee saves Danger Noodle. Was almost going to be taken out by that tire, but is able to get the pick. And here we go. This is exactly what Core Quixotic needed. You force out the ultimates, and then you shut them down. And there you go. You cap the first point. Different now down on fire is now in the streets phase, and Core Quixotic, very nice cap.
Yeah, like I was saying, dealing with the Junkrat tire was really good for them. That burst damage that could easily end a push in one click didn't actually get to go off because of that. Coffee had the perfect opportunity to use the dragon, got the key picks necessary, and it was just a matter of time there. Now it looks like On Fire is going to swap to a dive cup on their own. However, they do want to keep the Junkrat though.
Makes a lot of sense. You know, you have all that shield pressure, and you see Dexter and Path, they were both a little bit too far forward, and a little bit overextended. Just had the Mercy to be with them, but it's all right because, you know, you gain some ground. You can afford to lose that fight because, you know, the payload was just moving through the first gate here, and Dexter is going to be able to get back on. And Coffee switching over to the Genji here, which I think is a little interesting, you know, but it goes along with the full dive. And Risky comes up, wins the Widow duel to start, and now you see Path runs up there, wants to deny the res, but the res isn't even going to come. Heavy J knows and wants to stay back for the most part, and this gives the tanks the room on the high ground here. All that free real estate is in their favor now, but Path actually uses his bomb there, invested in the fight, whereas Dexter is getting all the picks that they need. He's the DPS. Winston here, you do not want to mess with him when he's angry, and he is able to take down the Mercy, which means there's going to be no res, and there's going to be no Valkyrie until he can get back, and I don't think Heavy J can.
Nope, doesn't seem to be the case. Looks like the dive is really starting to work for them right now. Risky finally coming out to play here, getting a lot of key kills, and is pretty much just denying difference for even playing the game right now.
Yep. Now one last fight. They need to contest here. The D.Va, as you see, is waiting in the corridors, is able to get out just in time, but the tire as well is infested, shut down by Risky. Takes a shot, and it's gonna go flat basically. But Primal Rage now invested for both of the Winstons. A Titanfall kill by Path onto Different, and the Winston jumps up in the air, and that is gonna be Korra Quixotic winning the first round on Eichenwald. And we are gonna move to our next map up next, which is gonna be Lijiang Tower. Oh, I read that wrong. Then it is actually Nepal. It is not Lijiang Tower, forgive me. But you see, the play of the game is going to Dexter here. This was the final push where he invests the Primal Rage and then just not even getting real picks, but just zoning people away from the payload. And I mean, that's exactly how you want to play if you do want to, you know, win it, especially when it's at a situation like that where there's only a few meters left. I mean, less than 1 meter practically. You just get them all away from the point, and then there you go, you win.
Yeah, and it was so beneficial that doing so with only 3 members left on the team, so there's much less people you have to worry about displacing. That's why it works so well.
Yeah, it was. Thanks so much, guys. And it's very exciting to see. I mean, this is our, technically, I know it's close, but this is our underdog team taking the first map off of our number 2 seed. VK, how did they do it?
Quite good from both sides, although not without some big mistakes. At some point, I believed On Fire could actually take this map by not even letting Korra Quixotic onto the point. But as I see it, their main mistake was betting too many of their chips on something as unreliable as a rip tire. Although Mac is pretty much a magician, we saw that in his crazy D.Va opening, that 3-bomb, although not taking down Pharah, took down Mercy and basically opened all the way up to the gates for On Fire. And we saw him stop the first Korra Quixotic push on the defense with the Rip Tire. Well, it doesn't always work like that.
Yeah, no.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's just like playing Russian roulette. And when the revolver shoots, when it doesn't click, when it's not an empty chamber, well, you see what happens. They lost the first point and then immediately lost the game.
Yeah, no, once, I feel like really once Core finally switched to a comp that they knew that they could work with, things did really steamroll in their favor. And I guess On Fire didn't really get any switches off within that time. I mean, Streets phase can really evaporate. Having the payload stop right before that second checkpoint is really, really tough. I think if On Fire was going to win that round, they needed to do it at the first point. And you know, I'm curious. I know that they were working on some Goats comp, but I don't know if it is exactly their forte. I think they are much more efficient and effective with run and dive like they have before.
Well, the Goat comp worked pretty well for On Fire on attack, because their second push went successfully. Their first push was unsuccessful from the lack of any vertical gameplay, and Hanzo just climbed up to the second story and shot Reinhardt in the back. And the only one actually able to counter him was D.Va, who was busy with things on the ground and couldn't just fly up and try and control that Hanzo.
Yeah.
But the second they bait that Hanzo on the ground, they basically decimate him, they make themselves an opening, and they roll on right onto the point. The same with Mercy. The same with the Far Mercy comp. which was pretty surprising for me that they didn't switch from goat comp, because it's pretty much countered by Pharah, but still.
Well,
That's,
and
that's
not
where
just
Deckard comes in, because Dexter's crazy survivability skills on Winston, that's what lets them kill that Pharah, because her fuel is not endless.
well, yeah, and
She
not
has
just
to
that, but
ground sometime, and when she does, she's dead.
not just that, but Risky switching over to Widow was huge, as Andre has hopped in and let us know. And also, not just the fact that they were relying on those two, or all those tires from Mac because he was getting them, it's just the fact that two of them were canceled out. And I mean, those are huge plays that will absolutely save a team when they're pushing on a payload. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and let's get on to our next game. We're heading to Nepal.
Oh boy, Nepal. Good map, best game mode. Yeah, that's really all I have to say.
Yeah,
Oh,
King of the Hill.
Yep.
It's definitely one of my favorites. I mean, I think we agree on that one. I just love the unbridled aggression that the teams can have and really show off what they're capable of.
Yeah, definitely seems to slightly favor mechanics just a little more. But obviously the team play is such a huge factor. You want to clean up the fights really quickly, because for every second the enemy has the point and you don't capture it, it's just counting up to that sweet triple digit.
Yeah, you want to be able to lock this down. Shrine on Nepal is one of the more interesting Nepal maps, because Nepal in general is just a kind of weird map. It's very different from the rest, because what you do on Nepal is very different than what you do on other maps. Each map basically has its own little unique meta. Where you can run comps on one map of Nepal that would absolutely not work on another. And Shrine is one of the maps where it's pretty Pharah favored. You want to run a Pharah, maybe a Rein Zarya on the point as well, and then just control as many angles of approach as you possibly can and shut down, the attacking team from getting on and wrenching control of the hill out of your hands.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It looks like we're seeing very similar comps out of both sides here, except actually on Fire. Nope, I take it back. They just wanted that quick and early speed boost. Have both teams running the Far Mercy. Very slight differences in their comp here. Going to be more damage for the side of Core with the Zenyatta, but more speed for on Fire with the Lucio. So we're gonna have to see who uses it better.
Yeah. Let's keep an eye on this Pharah battle here. You see Mac Almighty's gonna take a shot, whereas Coffee has gone unscathed so far, and Mac Almighty is the first to go down, and Coffee, there you go. That is exactly what you want to have happen. As soon as the other Pharah is dead, you get all the picks on the ground because there's absolutely nobody else to contest you, and they are going to be able to take this first point here for Quixotic.
Well, that's why winning the fire battle is so important. That last fight was, I think they were just a little slow to rotate. They kind of just left Heavy J out to dry. He was just on his own in the corner. They knew that when they rotated, and Core managed to just completely jump him. And the fight pretty much fell apart from there. And that's why now they're a little farther with the ults.
Oh yeah, absolutely here. But interestingly enough, Coffee is actually further behind in terms of ultimates here than Mac Almighty. But there we go. Is he a Pharah or is he a Quake Pro? I mean, it really depends, because with that air shots like those, goodness gracious, Coffee. Very well played out of him, but Pap on the front line getting the rest of the kills, and with just 3 like that, the rest of the On Fire knows they can't push in, except for Divert apparently. He didn't get the memo, but the rest of the team backs out instantly, wants to reset, maybe change up their composition.
Yeah, it looks like Heavy J is going to play the Lucio now. Probably wants to just have a little more mobility, so it's one, his team can move around better, and he has a better chance of surviving. But, you know, you got to wonder with Mac Almighty, maybe switch off the fire. It doesn't seem like it's working. His Coffee is killing it right now.
Oh, absolutely. But you saw the pulse bomb from Risky actually eaten up by Too Salty. Turned into a nice little snack for him. But now, Path, a little bit out of position here. Needs to be careful that he doesn't get Team Mac. Is actually going to invest the bomb. And Heavy J sneaks off the kill before he can get back in it. But Dexter, on the other hand, my goodness, the monkey is uncaged right now. And he just picks up 2 kills in that fight. Somehow, I'm not even sure how he did it, but he did it. And now Dexter needs to be careful. They are going to invest the sound barrier. They want to contest the point for as long as possible before conceding control, but they actually might take it back or continue to hold this point, because Risky and the rest of the team is now back. The cavalry has arrived. They can get back quicker because of the Lucio, and as a result, Cork Exotic is going to hold on to this point and possibly take this 99-0.
It is very likely Coffee has the rocket barrage. They're so staggered right now, they're about to lose it. She can just use it to kill whoever gets on the point like that. And that's the round.
There we go. You see Josiah trying to get there with the Primal Rage, has to invest it, but it's just not enough. And 100-0 in favor of Cork Exotic. That was very, very nicely played by them. They played that perfectly, you know? You just hold the point itself and have your Pharah do all the work practically for you. And, you know, win the air duel and then start raining down hell from above in the form of 130 damage rockets. And now, Nepal Village. This is a map that's interesting. This is a map that is different from the rest. You have to play to control the point rather than, you know, as opposed to some other maps where you can move off and move around. So, you know, that's why, you know, Risky on this Mei could work because you can wall them off and prevent them from getting on.
Oh yeah, plus the Mei Reaper is so good. You separate somebody from their team, and then the whole team can converge, but especially Coffee on the Reaper. So much damage close up, and you're literally backed against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's really good strategy often used here, because there are a lot of places that fit the size of the Mei wall, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mei can just pretty much stuff up an entire choke, but Divrin on a little bit of a flank there does catch Path, but he's going to be able to stay alive for the most part. The Zarya HP pool is simply too much, but now you see On Fire knows they can't really push in here because they'll get walled off just like that, and Josiah is down, the Ryan is down, and the rest of the team is just pretty much falling apart here without that anchor of its main tank, but they are actually able to sneak off the res. Radical somehow was able to get there without being punished, and Dexter is going to be a little bit overextended there, out of position. He's going to be found himself, whereas Coffee does find the pick somehow. You know, the Reaper very close range, but here's a flank High Noon. Everyone is going to be able to dodge it, though, using their own separate abilities, and he is punished for it. I don't even know why he thought of that in the first place, Pap says, but this, especially with the Coalescence now that they've invested in the fight, gives them the opportunity to continue to hold on and win this fight eventually, but that grab might have just sealed the deal for them in the end. Unfortunately, it's not going to matter, though, because there's just too much close-range damage to lock them down, especially with that Reaper.
Yeah, it must be feeling a little bad if you're different. You really needed to land that Deadeye. There was no Reinhardt. You know, it seemed like the perfect opportunity, but he couldn't connect and died for it. So it made, despite him getting rezzed, they were still 5 versus 6. And now, because now both teams have many ults going for them, probably going to see the Blizzard from Risky, because they're going to have to push on to the point.
Yeah, I definitely expect that to happen, and Path here is coming up very shortly on Graviton Surge. Actually was able to just get it right there, so this could go definitely towards the Cork Exotic's favor, but just like that, they're able to shut it down with a Barrage and a Sound Barrier, both ults coming together as one to give the team the damage and the sustain that they need, and then with a charge onto Risky like that, there's going to be no Blizzard. Actually did invest the Blizzard, but he's going to be taken down as a result. That's very, very unfortunate.
That's insane, you know, because Blizzard is a cast time ultimate. If you get CC'd in any way during the cast, you do lose the ult. So if she didn't get to throw off her little buddy, that ult's gone.
Poor Snowball, he's gone here, especially on this map. I mean, there's snow everywhere. I'm sure he would have loved to come out and freeze everyone up, you know, it's a good time. But here we go. Push is coming back out on the side. They've locked out most of the members, but they're still able to sneak through the little cracks in the wall. But the Reinhardt is frozen, is shortly finished off by the Coalescence. And now this gives the rest of the team once more the momentum that they need. As soon as that Ryan is down, Cork Exotic knows you play aggro, you play aggressive, you move in, you get the rest of the picks.
Yeah, unfortunately for On Fire, they used too many ults in that last fight to secure the point, and now they didn't have enough to actually hold on to it. This is really their last chance here. They don't have too much, just Graviton. Wow.
Like that, you see Coffee use the Death Blossom, and actually Josiah wanted to pin him, but he actually ends up catching Dexter, who's going for a flank shatter. Is actually not going to be able to use it because he used it and then got pinned, but Ubi Pro takes out Almighty. It's just too salty left on the point. Heavy J on the respawn. He's, no matter how fast Lucio is, no matter how much you study those rollouts, you can't get back to the point in time. And 2-0 to Cork Exotic once more. They're up 2-0 in this series. They have looked pretty dominant so far.
Yeah, it's undeniable. They're playing so well together. Each player is doing their role, and you can tell they really can coordinate, I should say. The comms are clear. You can see how they're always focusing on the same person, and they use their ult so well.
want to use your ults to where you get the most possible value, and I think that is exactly what they're doing. But we're going to throw it over to our analyst desk, and we're going to see what they have to say before we move on to our next map.
Thank you very much, guys. Enjoyed all of that as well. And, you know, it did seem like there were some serious signs of life. As soon as On Fire switched that over, I was like, all right, well, here we go. But it all did fall apart. VK, how did it go down?
Crazy. Just crazy stuff.
It was crazy.
And, I bet we're in the Matrix because Dexter was dodging everything like an agent. Just bullets and exploding mechs and shurikens and everything. He just survived. I don't think he died once during the first Nepal map, and that's what won them that first Nepal map. That and his first very brave dive onto Zenyatta. That was the first frag of the map, the first blood, and the biggest opener because Zenyatta is probably the scariest support to play against, especially if you're Winston.
No, I don't disagree at all. One damage orb on you, one Discord orb, and you are really hurting. There's no doubt about that. But, you know, perhaps things are about to switch up. We're moving to Rialto. It's a new map for people. You know, definitely some serious things can change that make for an effective composition. And, you know, but here's the thing. If On Fire doesn't win this, they're out of it. Their back is against the wall here.
Quite so. Still, Korku Exotic feel very confident with their picks, with their plays. That crazy dive in the beginning, and Mei plus Reaper strat against. They knew it will be a far mercy on Fire's side. They still picked Mei and Reaper, and the tanks, they had to bait someone inside the point so they could get walled off, and they did that perfectly as well. Man.
Yeah, no,
they're rolling straight to the finals.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, they only need to win one of the next 3 matches. On Fire will have to reverse sweep this. That being said, we've seen such things before, and I guess there's only one way to find out what is going to happen, and that's to head to Rialto. Let's see if this is going to be over in 3 or if we're going to be extending this match.
All right, Rialto, very interesting map. You know, it is one of the newer maps, actually the newest of maps introduced to Overwatch, and as a result, teams probably aren't as solid as they are in some of the other maps, you know, but I'm sure they have been practicing Rialto. You know, we heard from the beginning from Mac Almighty that they've been pretty much exclusively scrimming, you know, the maps that are in the current map pool for this for the playoff matchups, and I mean that's exactly what you want to do. You want to make sure you get as much practice on the maps as possible and really refine your strategies. And colors are now switched, so you've got On Fire in the blue, whereas Korku Exotic is now in the red. And what do you expect from this defense be done?
Well, you know, it could go a few ways. You could probably run the death ball here. I do see it happen quite a bit, just because this first area right here has, yeah, some high ground, but it's so how do I say it? It's not as effective as you would want it to be. So I think there's a lot of benefit to just holding the path there. A lot of teams like to run the Widowmaker too because of the long sight lines, as we see Difference is doing that right now. And yeah, and I would assume something similar for attack, unless you really want some fast aggressive dive, then you could run dive as well.
All right, Coffee, I see you on that Symmetra. Play it. A coward. Now, I guess we should Doomfist, but oh, Path, there we go. Path, better stay on the Symmetra. I want to see some Symmetra play. You know, ever since her changes, she's been an interesting hero, and teams haven't really been using her that much. You know, it's a little bit unfortunate because I think you can really get some creative plays, but as a result, they're just gonna switch back to their tried and true Ryan Zarya double sniper Mercy Zen combination. It's gonna work very well for them because, of course, I mean that's just a composition that's good in general. But you see just Side and 2 Salt here. They're gonna be playing for the picks. The pulled pork combo of the Orisa and the Roadhog, just pulling everyone on in. That is very difficult to deal with, and of course, with this small bridge, the Orisa halt, but the first one's gonna miss. They're actually gonna be able to survive this one, and now they're forced to move off the high ground and kind of reset around this corner.
Yeah, so far it's been pretty slow moving. They're trying to hold the payload as best as they can. I think they really need to focus on breaking the Rhine shield though. You know, they have the advantage. Orisa can set the shield up every 8 seconds. They're the ones with the Junkrat. They have the Roadhog. So they need to be busting that shield up and really pushing onto them a little bit. Because, you know, without the Rhine shield, they're a lot more vulnerable.
No, yeah, absolutely. But look at this. Dexter already has a shatter, and you know he's going to go for this as soon as that shield is broken. He's going to be able to sneak it on through, but is there going to be enough damage? It seems like there is. Coffee and Risky are there to follow up. Risky picking up 2, and now finishing off the rest of the team. This is looking good for Corpo Exotic to try and push this forward, but there might be one last contest here from On Fire.
It's possible, but they are probably going to struggle. Coffee and Risky doing so much work, and they're kind of not paying attention to them, not watching their flanks. They're getting snuck up on a lot, and it literally causes them to fall apart. It looks like that they will not be able to contest this because they are pushing up so much. Oh, and another staggered kill. He's gonna get delayed spawn too.
Yep. Too salty. Taking a swim in the waters of Rialto. Very nice. I mean, look at this. It's such a beautiful day here. Who wouldn't want to be swimming in that water? But he's gonna actually be changing over to the Zarya, which is good. That works a lot better with the Reinhardt pick, you know, because he did survive that first fight where Josiah died and was able to switch, whereas Too Salty could not switch and had to stay on the Roadhog because they just didn't have enough time. But now, as a result, look at this path. Close to a grab, and Coffee has got the Dragon.
Yeah, good chance we are going to see that. Heavy J does have good Transcendence, but this combo has been shown to beat it, provided the team does enough follow-up damage. But we're going to have to see Risky huge plays right now.
Cool. You see that? Yeah, Risky gets the huge plays and then even shuts down the tire. If that's not play of the game, I will eat my sock here, ladies and gentlemen, because that was just everything you wanted in a Widowmaker play, and now this just lets the rest of the team, again, as usual, move right in. If there's one thing Corpo Exotic is good at, they're good at collapsing on the other team as soon as the momentum starts to shift in their favor, and I love this aggressive hold that they're pulling out right now.
Yeah, it's so good. You know, they're pushing up so far, preventing them from even being able to contest. Because of that, now they've captured yet another objective with relative ease, and they still have so many ults to work with here.
They did not even have to invest the Grab Dragons combo, or the Dragon Surge combo, as it has been called, you know. I mean, even earlier you heard me, I called it a combo when it was just the Dragon Strike. Let that be an indication of how often the Dragon Surge combo is used, especially in the more earlier parts of Overwatch. By earlier, I mean closer to us rather than the very, very beginnings of Overwatch itself. But here we go. Grab Dragon's combo. You know Path is going to be looking for one. Are they going to be able to shut him down before he can use it? Question.
It is, but the grab's going to come out, and I guess we'll see.
There's a Dragon Strike as well. Is there enough damage, though? The Transcendence was invested in. They even threw a healing grenade into it as well from the Ana to boost that up, and as a result, they don't get a whole lot of picks. But Coffee, regardless, undeterred with the Storm Arrows now firing into Radical, who's very, very low, practically 1 HP, finishes off Too Salty, and then wants to go for the dessert of Radical here. It's a 7-course meal, or rather a 6-course meal, and all of the meals are the other heroes here. So Coffee just, I mean, he's just so good at just taking all of them out. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous.
Ridiculous indeed. On Fire with a few questionable ult usages here. You know, that Earth Shatter came out, it was great, but there was nobody to back Josiah up. So because of that, sure, you got the CC and maybe 1 kill, but not nearly as much as you could have or should have gotten.
Yeah. Radical's got the Nano Blitz here. Oh, he tried to sleep Dexter. He knew he was going to go for a shatter, but unfortunately missed the sleep right there, and that is going to cost them 2 of their members right away. This could be a Nano Blade coming out. It is. Different. Looking at the back line. Catches Risky when he wasn't looking, and now finishes off the Reinhardt as well. Coffee and Ubi Pro eventually do give him an orb to the face, shut him down, but the damage may have already been done. All depends on this tire, but the tire is not even gonna get a chance to come out because Coffee has been so good himself and Risky on just shutting these down. This is gonna be the last fight with 4.8 meters. Can they contest? How long can it last? Difference back on the point himself, but he cannot get the damage, all the damage on that shatter from Josiah, who tried to get 1 in at the very end. Does pick up 2, but again, just not going to be enough. If Radical is the only one left on the point, the rest of the contest is going to begin to come out. Actually investing the Transcendence here, and Path and the rest of the team, Different may just have done it. They have to back out, so Different actually going to be able to clutch this one out. I did not think that was going to happen, but he's proving me wrong.
Yeah, definitely a good stronghold from them. A little bit of too much aggression from Core there. You know, when you're down that many people and you're starting to lose more at the end, you should just back out. They used the Transcendence. They didn't really need to. Core, On Fire had spawn advantage by a mile, but they still went for it. That is a little bit questionable, but now they have the grab in this next fight. You gotta be sure it doesn't get eaten though.
Different. Did get knocked down by the Shatter, but they're gonna shut down Dexter as soon as she goes for the charge. You saw the grab as well, but it's nowhere to be found. I'm not even sure what happened to it, if it got eaten by the Diva or stunned while she was casting it. I'm not actually 100% sure, but
Yeah, dude.
and Risky. Okay, yeah, that explains it. I was a little bit confused on what exactly happened to it, but now this gives the offense the chance they need to continue to push in as they were able to get the picks. You know, I do like Risky now on this Brigitte, able to, you know, get the utility from the stun. See that? Different. Tries to go for the blade, but he just gets no room to work with. Actually, Radical almost able to sneak off the res, and again, Coffee shutting down the tire. Mac Almighty has got to feel just so frustrated because time and time again, his tires have just found nothing.
Yeah, it really is unfortunate, but that's the problem. When you run the Junkrat into double sniper or even one sniper, you know, with one fully charged shot, no need for the crit, they can immediately destroy your ultimate. You either need to be so smart about it or you just need to not bother.
Absolutely, and they were able to push it all the way with 1 minute and 34 seconds on the clock, which is not a bad time at all here. You know, they got held up a little bit on the last push, but were able to, you know, bully their way through in the end and push it all the way. Now they're going to be switching sides. We're going to see what they're going to pull out on the defense. I'm expecting double sniper as usual. This map is definitely a double sniper favorite, but in terms of the tank line, you saw the Orisa Hog last time, but seems like they might choose to run around Zarya here.
Yeah, that could work. It really, we'll just have to see. However, that isn't the worst idea, but I think from what we've seen in the last match, having no mobile characters whatsoever may be a problem here because we saw Core snipers move onto a high ground here just around the second corner, and because of that, they had the vantage point and the sight lines needed to really just tear apart On Fire's backline. So I think at least having a Diva is probably more beneficial than having a Zarya. You know, you have mobility, some pretty good damage, and that defense matrix is so good. It can deny so much damage, and even ultimates.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things that Diva can do is, you know, Winston usually takes this role when you're playing dive, but it's pressure diving. Because what the Winston will normally do is just dive solo onto a Widowmaker or a Hanzo or someone along the lines of that who, you know, usually does play by themselves and just forces them away. Doesn't even have to get the pick, just forces them where they have to invest time in getting healed from one of their supports, which means their supports have to come to the backline and heal them, or they have to grab a health pack, and as a result, you can turn it into practically a 5v6 for the team and take the pressure off your own snipers. So I would like to see that Diva here to, you know, kind of take that role over the Winston and just pressure diving these snipers, because now you see they're set up on the high ground, and there you go. They get all the room they need to get that initial pick onto Coffee. They are going to be able to res this one up though, so Coffee now in a bit of a bad position here though, has to lunge out of danger.
Oh, ban for Risky, you know, not really paying attention, too focused on too salty. And that's what happens, but Coffee gets revenge for him. Yeah, it really depends on the battle of these snipers here. It looks like they're just going for some really big
Coffee.
1v1s. Yeah,
There we go. That second chance was only needed. Once he's back in and rezzed up, he gets the double kill right away onto the DPS duo. And now you see that the offense has to kind of back up a little, wants to play this a little slower here, but Josiah goes for a cheeky charge. It's not going to work out in his favor, and he is actually going to end up overextended and picked. Heavy J as well, and now Radical Coffee getting all the picks right now, and that is so good for his ultimate charge.
Yeah, you know, we should hardly be surprised. He's proven throughout the series to be a very good projectile player. Not just on the Hanzo, but monstrous on the Pharah. And now he's showing it again. Has the Graviton Surge, has the Dragon Strike, I should say. But Path does have the grabs as well. So they can make a really strong hold here. No Diva to eat it this time. And no ults really besides the Earth Shatter coming up on the other side. So this is looking good for them so far.
Path is playing very aggressive here because he wants to build up that, that grab as soon as possible, but they're actually going to body block him. Very well played from Mac Almighty there. Great just decision making and just, all right, body block the Diva, everyone kill her. But now, or body block the Zarya, everyone kill her. But Coffee and Risky going to trade. Radical actually going Battle Mercy, putting down the staff and picking up the pistol. And it's going to work out in their favor because they get to pick up to Risky there. And then with the Widow down, Dexter is soon to fall, but he's going to be able to be rezzed by the Valkyrie that's invested by Danger Noodle here. And again, pulling out the pistol, going for the kill into Too Salty here. Can he get it? No. Close range like that, Danger Noodle is going to take an arrow to the face. And here we go. The Dragon Strike comes out. Not going to find a whole lot of value, but Too Salty doesn't really need the Dragons to find the value. He can get it just on headshots alone. Thinking of different back into the fight now. Gets a shot onto Path. Radical is down though, but the Mercy, it's too little, too late, and they're going to be able to push this all the way through.
Yeah, it does seem to be the case. Unless, actually, no, they are right around there. They might be able to take this fight as long as they get on the point in time. They still have to grab Dragon Strike. As long as they can deal with the Transcendence, this could really work out for them.
Risky does find different here, but Josiah charging Dexter and does actually eventually win that out here, but the offense is looking like it's kind of floundering a little bit. 1.15 meters left, and they are going to be stopped here by that Grav Dragon combo. But you see Josiah, look at his positioning here. He's looking for a shatter. He knows he's got one. He wants to make it big so his team can capitalize.
Yeah, definitely. That big. He needs to land a big one if he's going to make this happen. And it looks like that he does.
There we go, and now charges in. Unfortunately, not going to catch Dexter, but Dexter goes for the counter charge, and he is very low HP, needs to get the healing from his team, but now he's got a shadow of his own. He's going to be looking for a big one, finds it, sneaks it right past the shield of Josiah, knocks down Mac Almighty there, but aren't able to secure the pick, whereas Dexter and Coffee are now both down. Rez actually comes up from Danger Noodle, again with the Valkyrie, able to kind of stay in that side room where you can't really be shot, which is very nice. Well played out of her, but now the Trans is going to be separated from the team by that charge, but Dexter tackles Josiah into the wall as soon as he finishes up there, and now again, looks like the defense is going to be able to win this fight. I mean, poor Quixotic here, looking very, very good on this defense. 9 seconds left, they have to get on the point, but it doesn't even look like he can when Risky comes up big like that and gets the double.
And there's really nothing left they can do. They are letting Danger Noodle get away with way too many resurrects. You know, they were nearby. They could have done something about it, but they didn't because he got rezzed. It evened their numbers again. Ult started coming out, and then On Fire just got put out.
Absolutely On Fire, completely put out in the core. Quixotic, you know, Quixotic as a word, you know, I mentioned it was my favorite. You know what it means? Exceedingly idealistic, unrealistic, and impractical. But interestingly enough, this was a very, very practical win for them. It was not unrealistic at all. I mean, they basically full swept the On Fire here, and there we go. This could be, you know, rivalry maybe for another time. Start to build up here between these two teams. Core Quixotic is gonna be moving on to the finals.
They are indeed, and I gotta say, a little bit of a surprise. On Fire was a very, very strong team all season. The only match they lost was to our #1 seed, and that went to 5 rounds. So it's interesting to see how these teams have developed through the Discord Community Throwdown season. But with a result like that, I mean, we have to talk to, we gotta talk to, well, I guess we got to talk to Risky. I mean, he was there, but I feel like I want to talk to Coffee too. I mean, that was some gnarly, gnarly stuff. But let's go ahead and let me ping Risky here. And also one of the cast. Yeah, that's who said they were gonna eat their socks?
That would be.
It's okay. We can say that as merely a gentleman's agreement.
Off camera.
Yeah.
I believe it was on camera, but you know what?
No, I will eat the sock off camera.
Oh, okay. And you can,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
you can
fair
tell
enough.
us all about it.
I'll definitely eat the sock off camera. Wink, wink. If you know what I'm saying.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and pull Risky up here. Let's hear some sounds of just some jovial sounds of the win. All right, Risky. I mean, welcome back. This is a lot sooner than I planned on talking to any of you guys. I was feeling at least 4 or 5 maps here today, but how you doing?
Feeling pretty good.
I mean,
Congrats
I
on
would
the
hope
victory, by the
so.
way.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, that was some serious stuff there. You guys really laid down the law.
Yeah. Like like no disrespect meant to On Fire. They're a great team, but it went a lot smoother than we thought it would. We thought it'd go to at least 4 maps.
Why do you think that is? I mean, they were messing around with some interesting comps on the opening round in
Yeah.
Eichenwald, but I mean, after that, I still would have expected really strong play from them. I mean, they seriously they only lost one match and it was a close one all year. I'm very surprised, and that's no disrespect meant to you guys. It's just that they've been playing for a while, forever too.
Mm-hmm. Like so Eichenwald basically we noticed what comp they were running, so we just decided to completely counter it, the Pharah,
Mm-hmm.
and then they didn't switch to it at all. So it just allowed Coffee to pop off.
Yeah, and he what really was. I mean, that was some serious stuff that went down.
Yeah, it's like the benefit of not having anyone shoot at you and you're a DPS, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, if you're not pressured, you can go for whoever you want. There's none of that like, oh crap moment where, even if you're supposed to be focusing down, a Mercy, you're getting 1v1 versus this person. As soon as you turn your attention, you're dead. It's like no, if you're not being pressured at all, you really can focus down whatever target you want. Who will be the best? Who's going to win this fight for you?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
well,
So like Eichenwald, Coffee was definitely our carry there. I forget. Oh yeah, Nipple. Nepal. Uh, honestly, I think Dexter carried us on Nepal.
well, it was really a lot of stuff, and I'm just hearing from our we've got Andre in the back, and he's letting us know that you had 50% accuracy on that last match, and I mean that's nothing to shake a stick at either.
I mean, yeah, I was shooting a lot of tanks, but
Well, yeah, those nice big targets will help that out, but nevertheless, that's more damage for you, which means more ultimates, which means more one team fights when it really does come down to it.
definitely. I think what made it a bit easier when I was doing like playing Widow a lot is I just knew where the other Widow was at all times, and when you know that, it makes the 1v1 really easy.
Oh, right on. Andre is going to hop in here. He's actually been paying attention. It sounds like he has a very specific question for you. He is our resident Widow fan. Andre, what are you thinking?
I'm glad you're letting me take this opportunity to ask this mighty question. Risky, congratulations today. I'm happy for you guys. I think if anybody's going to give Primal a run for their money right now, it's you in this current setup. Hopefully, you don't have 3 more changes to your team before that game.
We're 5 out of 6, definitely set in stone.
All right, you guys are in your happy place. That's
100%
good.
guaranteed.
Risky, the one play in mind for me that comes out as like the play of the game for me, that Coffee on Eichenwald when he took that tire out from Mac and then got that Dragon Strike triple or double or whatever it was. That was a huge play. But for me, the most special moment was when On Fire's pushing the point on Rialto. They're less than 1 meter away, and you lose your main tank. What were the comms like when Danger Noodle was laying that fat, filthy res that nobody was expecting? What were the comms like?
It was, to be completely honest, I have no fucking clue. Because we have
So things were thick at the moment, is what you were saying.
There were a lot of trigger words being sent out in comms. I was on a flank behind them, so like I was like trying not to get seen and get picks at the same time. I don't know how, like, Danger Noodle gets ridiculous reses at times. We don't know how she does it, but it works.
That really is one of those saving graces of like the clutch Mercy plays, is like pulling out those reses that you're just like, no, okay. It's like sometimes there's nothing better than that.
Yeah, and like even like in a team fight, having the main tank die first is kind of optimal, because like he's the one most in position, if you kind of catch my drift,
Yeah, sure. If they're doing their job, I couldn't agree more.
Like if they die in position, it's going to be a pretty easy res as long as they don't steamroll us.
Yeah, especially on a payload map such as
Definitely.
Rialto. You know, when you're playing a control map, sure, maybe you can get away with some of that, but or when things break down, you may never know how they're going to go. But when you have to be on that payload, you are correct. If the main tank goes down, it's almost more valuable than a support at that point in time.
Definitely, because the support can cover the other. Yeah. I'm not here
Absolutely.
to preach.
No, it's all good. But I mean, I hope people come and watch this to learn as much as they do to enjoy what's going down. But I think we've taken you for long enough. I'll let you go and celebrate with the team. This does mean that you guys have officially moved on to the finals. You will be playing Primal, of course, and you know both you guys 3-0'd your opponents in the semifinals. So I'm ready to see like a serious match get broken out here.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
All right, sweet. Well, I'm going to go ahead and toss you out of here, and you have a good one. Congratulations one more time.
Yep, thank you.
All right, guys. Well, that really was, I mean, I got to say, I'm all for surprises. I'm all for twist endings. Just not what I expected, but I'm ready to see what gets tossed out in these finals. I mean, I think these teams have really settled into their compositions. I think they really know what they're doing. I mean, Primal looks really, really strong. Core Quixotic looks really, really strong. And if both these teams play the way they did in their Final Four / semifinal matchups, we're going to seriously have a heck of a match.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, Primal's been looking so good lately. And now with how well Core has just, brought themselves up because of how well they've improved this season, this should just be such a great final.
Yeah, no, it really should. Well, I'm looking forward to that, and thanks to everyone who has been watching the stream. Please participate in the Twitch chat in the finals. You could win a pair of One More headphones, who's our delightful sponsor for these finals. They really make a badass product. Like them on Facebook and anywhere else. And things are set. We're going to be scheduling that as soon as possible, and we will let everybody know. For now, go to discordthrowdown.com to register your team for Season 2 if you think you have what it takes. There will be over $1,000 in cash prizes, and we're going to be registering 16 teams to be really, really throwing down. It's going to be a one heck of event. So, but for now, thanks, guys. Good luck, have fun, and throw down.